Hello and welcome to Have a Chat. It's a beautiful sunny day here in Miramichi. I'm your host for today's show, Judy Loge, joined by my very beautiful co-host, Veronique Arsenault. Welcome, Vero.
Welcome. I thank you. I love Mondays because I always get a nice compliment.
Yes, you deserve it. You always look radiant. You say you don't sleep, but you would never know.
Yeah.
You're glowing.
It's funny, a friend of mine was looking at the data from my Fitbit, right? And he's like, oh, you must sleep. And then he's looking at the data from my Fitbit. He goes, oh, no, you really don't.
I know you don't.
Like, I know.
You manage extremely well.
Well, we both do.
So what did you manage to come up with for a quote this week?
Well, I love this one because it talks about, giving back and being a volunteer. And the two guests that we've got today are, hugely active in our community.
Yes.
So it really kind of spoke to me this morning. So it is by the great Martin Luther King Jr.
Okay.
So everybody can be great because anybody can serve. You don't have to have a college degree to serve. You don't have to make your subject and your verb agree to serve. You don't have to know the second theory of thermodynamics. I can barely say it. In physics to serve, you only need a heart full of grace, a soul generated by love.
I'm surprised I've not heard that before.
Me either.
No,
actually, because I hadn't heard it either. But I was surfing the web this morning, and
that is beautiful.
I know.
And just to follow up, I mean, people say, "Oh, I'm bored. I'm bored." Well, the way I look at it, unless they're physically immobile or not capable of doing some little thing, there is always a way to serve in some capacity.
Absolutely.
Even a little way. Just to me, serving is knowing that someone out there might be lonely or suffering and picking up the phone and checking on them. That's serving another person when they're isolated, for example. Or, when people say, I'm so bored, I'm like, well, could you maybe tutor a child? Because that doesn't involve, running anywhere or anything like that. But I have to get this in because speaking of running, Paula Keating, Dr. Paula Keating, it just came right to me.
Yes.
Shout out to our Miramichi's Dr. Paula Keating, who placed 7th out of 1,172 people in the London Marathon in the 55 to 59 age group. I mean, I am so pumped to hear that.
I can't even drive as fast as she runs. It's phenomenal.
She's a machine.
Absolutely.
That is bravo.
I know.
I mean, my goodness, that's huge over in London doing that.
Well, and it's amazing because, the dedication it takes to, to training, to training correctly, to making sure that you're, eating the right things to fuel your body. It's just an incredible amount of dedication and on top of regular life, right? So she's phenomenal and really an example for everyone that age isn't the limiting factor there.
I know, it's perseverance and, like you said, all the components that make up for a really good athlete. She's got them all under control, and she's proving and she's doing big things. So again, congrats to that. For the viewers that weren't able to get to Queen Elizabeth Park on the weekend, this past Friday for Truth and Reconciliation Day, many people did turn out, including Veronique and I, and we were so proud to be part of that day.
Well, and the park was packed, and it was families and kids and people of all ages and phenomenal speakers. The Maui Council that organized it in conjunction with the city, just a very small partnership on our half from the city. They do all the hard work, and we just kind of help facilitate where we can. But so proud of that partnership, with the city. But incredible. There were speakers and we walked around the square together in a unity march, and it was a long one.
And it was a beautiful sunny day.
Oh, it was gorgeous.
There were elders there and members from all the various First Nation communities. And our Mayor Lorden spoke so eloquently about partnering and looking together to embrace as one. We're all one going forward in the future, and recognizing what the truth actually is, and looking at the history and how we can study that and be the voice for the future of the children and everybody and our own children, that they should be educated all about the Indigenous affairs that are going on.
Yeah, and one of my favorite parts, so I always love the drums. Love the drums. They are my favorite part of any powwow or any event that I've been at where we get to hear them. But what was really cool was they had several young people in their first drumming circle. So learning how to do that, which is, you know, such a gift, and singing and all that. So it was really, I think they were about 10 or 11 along with their elders and those that were teaching them how to do it. So it was really amazing to see that. Shout out to the Timberwolves for coming out as well.
I know.
Like there was so many of them, which was great to see.
That is such a great thing because they're a team, and when they do have a day off, I'm sure they're exhausted from traveling and playing hockey games one after the other, and they need that downtime. But to them, downtime was in the importance of showing up for something as important as Truth and Reconciliation Day.
Yeah, it was a phenomenal event in the park. The second time we've had it now, second year in a row. So just a wonderful partnership for us, and very lucky that they're willing to teach us rather than seek retribution.
Absolutely, and I must give a shout out to 95.9 who had all day long on the radio, rather than music, they had a day to listen.
Yeah.
I believe that was what it was called, a day of listening.
That's right.
And it was listening to all of the leaders and survivors and all of the people that really were talking about using their voice and storytelling. That's a huge part of making things differ.
Yep.
Right? Like there's nothing I learned more from than hearing one of my parents or grandparents when they were alive, or an elderly neighbor, or even someone that's been somewhere that I haven't been, telling their story. I love to listen. And with listening we learn, and with learning we change.
Absolutely, and you know, I was out with my cousin, your nephew, last night, David, and David is the grandson of a survivor, a residential, a day school survivor, actually, from Nova Scotia, and he said, like, their relationship and everything that she talks about and how she raised her children from there are from the experiences she had in those schools, right? And so it has affected and continues to affect generations, you know, and so he doesn't share very often kind of that aspect of it, but it was interesting. We talked about it last night as we were heading over to the Arkells concert.
Yes, I want to get deets and all that. All I want to say is that the sun was shining all weekend. And after Truth and Reconciliation Day, it was a big moment for me. I came home, I felt peace, I felt happiness and joy, spending time with Indigenous people for the right reasons. And then the next day, Gerard and I attended a wedding. And what I want to say about attending a wedding is that there's been so many funerals and sadness and events that weren't happy going on, or nothing going on, the past 2.5 years, that it's my second wedding in 2.5 years.
Oh, really?
And the first one was Mia's, our niece, and it was all masks that were worn. And this time it was my uncle's grandson that got married. And just joyful to see little kids dressed up and see, you know, someone up there so happy and sharing their love. I mean, it was a really good weekend.
Oh, isn't that wonderful?
So then you rock and rolling queen, you went to an event that I really don't know much about them, but everybody I'm sure was there but me.
Well, you know what, so the place was packed. It was at the Civic Center. And what I loved about it, so it was a Sirius XM radio. And what I loved about it was they brought the Arkells, an amazing Canadian rock band from, I believe they're from Hamilton, Ontario. And they brought the show that you would see in any massive venue into our little rink, you know, with our people, and the opening band was from Fredericton, Marion. One of their, I think he's the bass player. I'm not sure. I really do apologize, but he's from Natawaganeg, so just right here. And just a phenomenal show. The energy was just like any other massive live show that I've been lucky to see so many of the greats in concert. I loved every minute of it last night. You know, our deputy mayor, Patty Quinn, opened up with a few remarks, and he got the crowd so energized.
Well, he's so good
in an instant.
He speaks and people listen.
And it was the energy was phenomenal. The show was incredible. I loved every minute of it, and it was amazing that actually it was free. It was free.
And people need that very. They need to come out and, like Gerard said, you know, I know you're not familiar with the band, nor am I, but just to see the city members come together from all ages and be pumped up and joyful and celebratory, and hear two amazing bands play.
Incredible.
Like I said, I'm not familiar with them, but I hear that they are awesome, and they put on a dynamic show.
Absolutely. And you know what was so cool was so many of the kids in the audience, it was their first concert, right? So they got to have that experience at home.
Yes.
And you could see like they were holding up their little signs, you know, my first concert, and they played to the crowd so well. They interacted with the crowd. They had a super fan in the front row, and they sang her request, and they like, it was just amazing.
Were people dancing too? They were up and rocking it?
Yes, and they were up in their seats. They were up on the floor because there was two levels of, there was the seating, and then you could be on the floor, general admission for both. And people were rocking out all into it. Night. It was amazing.
We need more of this. This is what Miramichi is all about.
Absolutely.
Showcasing our beautiful venues and people that come together and do things the right way.
Yeah, well, they did the big show in our spot, and it was
Civic Center.
You felt it.
Center.
Yeah,
I'm so excited.
I loved it.
Well, now we're into October, darling. Yes, our anniversary is coming up on the 8th. Gerard, don't feel you have to get me anything because I'll pick up my own.
That's right.
Sign your name for you.
I'll send you some hints.
No worries at all about this year. Number 34 coming up.
Incredible.
And Thanksgiving.
I know.
Well, I'm not really prepared for Thanksgiving, but I will get it done.
Thanksgiving and Easter are two of my favorites. October is a huge month for our family.
Oh, don't get me started on that.
Like it really, truly.
Birthdays.
Yeah. It truly is. Like, we have birthdays and anniversaries all month.
All month.
So it starts on the 8th with yours and goes right through the 31st.
With my sons, and Colleen. My son's born in Halloween, and then my sister's son's born in Halloween. So, like, we're kind of witches.
Like, how'd that happen?
You know.
But so it's such a busy time for those 2 weeks, actually, that I like it. You just see it fly by.
I know,
right? But yeah, no, it's exciting.
And also, this October is happening, so you're aware of that event that's going on in the Miramichi. Beginning, it kicked off October 1st, and it runs until the 31st, and it's happening. So you can drop off socks for children. Yeah. Teenagers, men, women, any kind of socks, new socks, at all of the churches in Miramichi. That's a lot, and you can Google the event on Facebook. It's October, and 11 car dealerships are taking them as well.
Amazing,
so that we have a lot of car dealerships.
Yeah.
So we're going to have a lot of people warmed up with nice, cozy socks. Who doesn't need socks in the fall month and going into the winter? And it's a joint effort by Miramichi Church Women, and I know Paula Truman is one of the key organizers.
It's an amazing initiative because I saw there's data that says there was a study that was done that socks and underwear are the most requested things in shelters. Okay. Because they don't have access to them, right? So those experiencing homelessness or having to go to shelters for whatever reason they may be. Those are typically the things that they either can't take with them or don't have access to. So, I mean, I know what it feels like when I, pull on that snuggly little warm fuzzy pair of socks. You just feel like you're home and able to relax. So, I think what a amazing initiative and I know Paula has been a driving force behind that. So just amazing those things that we don't think about, right?
Well, you're talking about putting on cozy socks, and I was saying to you and the girls that are coming on here shortly that how very, very blessed I feel when I look at the people everywhere around the world that are homeless, including our own community. And I said, you get that October chill in the morning. We have the luxury of putting on the heat for a blast and putting on a nice robe and keeping warm. And speaking of being blessed, we were so blessed, Veronique, like looking at the post-hurricane situations. I mean, here we had Fiona that wiped out so much of the Atlantic provinces. Nova Scotia was particularly hit hard, Cape Breton, PEI, Port aux Basques, Newfoundland. And then in Florida, right on the heels of that was Hurricane Ian.
I know, it's incredible. Like the absolutely destructive power of these storms, you just can't think of it until you see it. And we were so lucky here. We had some downed trees and stuff like that and a little bit of flooding, but I think overall we did quite well. But, I have friends in PEI and Nova Scotia and, have been able to connect with them to know that they're safe. But like, they're going on day 10 of no power in PEI.
I know.
And I know Nova Scotia, there's been a lot of crews come from all over Canada and the U.S. to help.
Thankfully.
To reconnect the power, which is amazing. A good friend of mine works for Ottawa Hydro, and he just left Nova Scotia after having been there for 10 days.
I give them so much credit. People are going on, why can't we have power? They're doing their best.
Well, they work 16-hour days
and
on
those
poles.
Those power lines, the condition they were in. Like I have a lot of my relatives on my mom's sides live in Sydney.
Yeah.
And they're in Cape Breton, and they were sending me pictures. It was like, oh my gosh. And
Incredible.
one of my nephews is living there as well, that was home for the wedding. And he just said he was just blown away by the destruction.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a Category 4.
Absolutely.
So there were people, I think there were like, there was homes washed out and boats ripped right out of their moors and vehicles underwater.
Oh, yeah.
And there's been 76 people die to date in the
incredible.
Florida hurricane.
Yeah, it's incredible. It's mind-boggling. I will say this though: the Arkells donated $15,000 because they had a show in Halifax on the weekend.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so they donated $15,000 to the Red Cross. So the federal government matched that.
I'm impressed.
Yeah, and then last night they were encouraging anybody to donate last night as well through the Red Cross app. So so they did a lot of trying to help, and
sure
definitely
did.
our hearts are with our neighbors in PEI, Nova Scotia, Newfoundland, as they continue to try and pull out of this, and then of course in the States.
And in the States, I think there were like 2 million people in Florida without power, which is still happening. They don't have it. No. And the death toll really shocked me. 76 people.
Yeah.
You know, our world is really rapidly changing with more and more disasters, and I'm always just so thankful for every day. I truly am.
Yep.
And I want the viewers to say the same thing. When you get your 2 feet on the ground
Yep.
and you're able to say good morning and grab a coffee and just put on something warm and cozy, give thanks.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Because we're not most of us are not living with or experiencing homelessness, thankfully, and we didn't suffer as badly as others with this storm. Climate change is the thing.
It's a real big thing, and it concerns me.
Yeah.
We had a real fun weekend, actually, after the wedding and after we'd attended the Truth and Reconciliation Day. I sipped my coffee and watched Gerard and Jansen clean up the yard for I was like, good job. Good job, boys. Keep going, because it's a lot of work.
Oh.
I mean, you're having to get all your lawn furniture put away, your barbecue put away. He has a side-by-side. He has like a sea-doo in the yard. There was all kinds of different, the diving board had to be taken up and put away and cleaned.
Yeah.
It's a huge thing. And,
absolutely.
and I mean, I'm not into a whole lot of that, and raking.
It's not a thing for me either.
So if people are looking to help elderly people out, a really good thing coming soon would be to help those people that can't get out to rake. Young people.
Oh, yeah.
I encourage them.
Yeah, I don't like it.
No, I don't like it either.
I don't know.
And we have an amazing Interact Club, various Interact clubs throughout our region at the schools. And particularly, I'm just going to speak to the one I am involved with personally, and that's the Jameson Hill Interact Club. And there's going to be a chili cook-off this year, which I'm thinking they're going to volunteer at.
Yes.
Happening October 8th. It starts at 11, goes to 4 p.m. at Fletcher's Farm. So I love chili. There'll be all kinds of people with their chili made and donated, and the contest, of course, anonymously, who has the best one. So that's going to be exciting.
Can't wait.
Now we have to go to break. We have to, because we have 2 phenomenal ladies coming on, and I won't share who they are until you come back. Very soon, ladies and gentlemen, grab yourself a snack. Thank you. Hello and welcome back to Have a Chat. If you're just joining us, Veronique and I have been having a lovely chat. I'm your host for today's show, and she is my co-host, and it's always a delight to share this room with her.
I'm so pleased.
And thanks to all the Rogers staff. Of course, we're live here in studio, and we look forward to joining you each and every Monday. Thanks for tuning in. Right now, we're joined by a friend of Veronique's and mine, and many people in the community know this lovely lady known as Kim Harris.
Thank you.
She's a great gal, and Kim, we do know you very well, but for those who may not, please share a little bit about your personal life with us.
I am a mom of 2 boys. I say boys, but they're young men now.
Yeah.
They are.
They're 19
I don't know how that happened.
and 15. So so they're great boys. And my husband Kylie couldn't do anything I do without that man. He has the patience of you don't know what. Yeah, no, he's a saint. So honestly, I couldn't do none of this without him. So
And Kim's here with us today as a photographer. She's more than that, but her topic today is going to be about photography, which I would love love to be able to do well. I think I'm okay at it, but you're a pro at it.
I think anybody can do it. I think if you have that drive that you just want to, if you have something in mind and you just work towards it, you can do it.
Passion.
It's like anything, you know? That's what it is. It's just about doing it.
Loving it.
Yeah.
So when did you know, though, that you were good at it and that you wanted to do it?
Do you know when I knew? I knew when I had Grayson, my first child, okay? So I took him to, Walmart. Actually, I think it was like Zellers.
Yes.
I think it was Zellers or Sears. One of them had like a photo booth thing there, and I brought my little baby in, and they got nothing. They got nothing. There was nothing. And I'm thinking, he's cute. Like, why are these looking so terrible? So anyway, I got my camera and I just started taking pictures. And this was when digital had just started, right? So I just kept taking picture after picture until I got it. And then I realized, and then Facebook came out. So then what do? You post your cute kid on Facebook.
Obviously.
So that's what I did. So poor Grayson, God love him, I had his pictures on Facebook, and then people just messaged me. And they said, Kim, would you take pictures of my kid? And I'm like, okay, well, maybe I can do this.
Yeah.
Right? So anyway, so that was kind of where it all began. But then we got our Walmart.
Yeah.
And Walmart had a photo studio.
Yeah.
So I said, well, I want to work there. I must have applied 20 times.
Really?
Like, I just kept putting my name in. At the end of it, I think they just hired me because they were tired to see my name.
I didn't know you worked at Walmart.
Yeah. So that's where I started. And then Walmart actually, at the time, I don't believe, well, the photo booths are non-existent now, but at the time, the photo booths would actually put you through training for photography. So it taught you about the rule of thirds, taught you about composition. It taught me so much stuff.
Did not know that.
Right? Seriously. No
amazing?
one would have thought that, right? So I learned all this at the Walmart photo booth. That's where I got my start. And then, of course, I mean, I'm self-taught, but there's so many amazing photographers that give webinars and things like that. So I get on there and I just keep educating myself.
I know.
That's
Things
amazing.
come up or they're close to us, and I'll travel and go to a webinar or go to a meeting. COVID kind of put a shabab to a lot of that, but hey, we're getting through.
But she's done a lot even for myself over the event where I need to bio for a play I was part of, or the Truth Gala, Heart Truth Gala, a fashion show in Moncton.
Yes,
you
the
did
fashion
my
show was
pictures
amazing.
of that, and you're just so you have such a way and making us feel relaxed, and that's part of it too, is capturing that person, making them feel those kids. Oh, that would be such a challenge.
And that's the thing too. I think a person really needs to be personable to do this job.
Of course.
Because you're not just taking a photo. I mean, anybody can take a photo.
Right.
But you want to capture that moment. So you kind of got to ask some questions. You know, like, what do you need this photo for? Remember, I would ask you, like, what do you need this for? Because there's a certain look to everything that you do.
It's true.
I could take your picture for 7 different events and they'd all look different because they're for different events. So you capture that moment.
If you want a professional one, you look more serious. If
Right.
you want a fun one, you look more animated.
Right, and it's in your clothing, your hair, and everything. There's so much that goes on with it. But yeah, it's a lot of fun.
You're a great teacher. So tell us more specifically about school pictures, how you started taking
My
pictures
goodness.
is it one school or all schools?
No, I have a bunch of schools that
Okay.
that I'm doing, and some daycares. And I have to say, I miss Dewey. I mean, Dewey was the guy, right, that we all went to for photos.
Yeah.
So this is how I got into the schools, because Dewey was retiring. And, I have to tell you a secret. And it's kind of a funny secret. Again, I'm telling everybody. But,
TV.
when I started out photography, I said, I want to be like him.
Yeah.
He was kind of he was the idol. You always have that one person you want to live up to, right?
Yeah.
He was my guy.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to be like Dewey. I wanted to be that staple, that name.
Yeah.
And I worked and worked and worked towards it. But I mean, it's
He did my grad pictures.
yeah, he did mine too. So it's like I wanted to be that. But I wanted to be that, but different.
Yes.
So that's where the school of photography came from. Because he retired, I reached out to some of the schools, and then, of course, they said, yeah, sure, because they knew who I was.
So
that's
you do
kind of how it
like the
worked.
student of the month. Tell us a bit more about
Well,
that, though.
actually, the student of the month and thing at James M. Hill was like a little project that I was doing. And it was time to just freshen it up a little bit. So I actually reached out to Jordan Pinder and asked if he wanted to take over. And he's been doing it, and he's been doing an amazing job.
Cool.
So it was just one of those things, we went through the stages of it, we built it up, but it just came to the point where I felt that it just needed new life.
Okay.
Right?
That's nice. One's time.
Yeah. So I called up Jordan. Jordan was like, yeah, sure, I'd love to do this. So it was great. So
I love that collaboration.
Over
I love when people that are of the same mind and the same subject can work together
I just believe that
build
that's how
each
it
other
should
up.
be.
And
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes, we're all photographers. We're all doing the
Yeah.
same thing, but we don't have to be like
competing.
Right.
You each have your own little flavor, though.
Yeah.
That's right.
You know, and
That's
it's
right.
funny because now I can get to, I kind of know all of you and can say, oh, I know that Kim took that picture or Jordan took that picture.
You can figure it out now, eh?
Yeah, absolutely. Because, you know, they each have their own style.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Nice.
So,
Yes, most definitely. And I mean, the new photographers that are coming up, it's the same thing. You got to do everything to figure out what you're good at.
Yeah.
And then you're just going to find that flavor that you like.
Yeah.
You know, mine's the people thing.
Yeah.
I'm good with people. I'm good with kids. I did the time with the babies. It's time to focus on the school stuff now.
So,
you know?
but your school pictures this year, because I've been, of course, you and I are friends on Facebook, and you're like, you're doing things a little different with school
listen,
pics.
if I could just post these pictures
Yeah.
of these kids, you have no idea. So I'm hoping when the order forms come in and I get the contact information, I'm going to reach out to some of those parents and see if I can use those photos for my website.
Yeah.
Because what I'm trying to do is trying to get kids to understand that your school photo doesn't need to be like this.
Absolutely.
And they are still self-conscious
Right?
at that age,
But
right?
you get in front of the camera and you're instantly nervous, right?
Yeah.
But some
I know.
photographers just go click, click, click. That's your school photo.
Yeah.
It's just happened in the past. That's the way that it was, right?
Yeah.
Everybody down the road at any school has had that. Like the first thing I say, I have a little chat with the class when they come in. I say, you know what, guys, I want you to be you.
Nice, Kim.
I don't want you guys to be all stiff. And usually, you know, I'll say, you know, maybe there's a monkey in my ear or something like that just to get a giggle. But I am telling you, I just finished King Street Elementary.
Oh.
I got all the proofs back, all like stack of 500 proofs, and I'm telling, I'm going through every one, and it's just melting my heart.
Oh my gosh, you get them with the two
I
front
know.
teeth
Right?
out in grade 1,
And
and I
that's
think
the
that's
thing.
so endearing.
These kids don't want to smile, but I'm getting these smiles in them, and I get that toothless grin, and I know
love
the
it.
moms are just going to be like, oh,
Well,
so
and, like,
cute.
and with their ball hats on, because of course, like,
Yep.
Oh,
because,
yeah.
you know, Kim had posted one day, she's like, listen, if your kid wants to wear his favorite hoodie because he's worn it for the last, 18 days
I don't know what
straight,
it is with boys, but they do that.
you know, then let him wear his favorite hoodie.
Yep.
It's okay.
Yep.
You know, if he
For
wants
him.
to wear his
Yep.
ball hat on because they
Yep.
they all do it,
Yes.
then
Yep.
it's okay.
But if you're at school every day with your ball hat on and that same darn hoodie, why are you putting a dress shirt on them?
Oh my gosh, Kim.
I just don't get it. Like, I'm a mom of boys, and they're creatures of habit.
Yeah.
I want them to look like them in their school picture. I want to
Exactly.
capture this moment, as crazy as it is, and how much I wish I could burn that sweater.
Yes.
And they're forever to us. I'll go through
Right?
my pictures
Yeah.
and I'll have like their grad pictures from Dalhousie or St. FX, which are recent, like
Yeah.
in recent years. But my favorite are going through those ones in elementary. And
Yes.
Jansen goes, "What did you do with my hair? I look like a girl.
I know,
Why did
right?
I have a bowl haircut and like,
Right.
and why did you put a tie on me, Mom?" And
But
I'm
can you
hooked.
imagine,
Oh,
though,
it's so
Judy,
funny.
recreating this now and having kids loving their school photos,
Yeah.
and then they look back at it and say, "I looked awesome in grade
Yeah.
6."
Yeah.
Yes,
Right?
yes,
That's
yes.
That's what I
terrible.
want to try to do.
Yeah. So you talked to us briefly about passion and going for what you really want to do and sticking at it till you're good. But what other tips do you have for someone that's out there saying, "I'd love to pick up a camera and just do it"? Like you spoke to how it worked for you, but for someone that's wanting to do what you're doing,
Yep.
what are some of your stepping stones for that person to follow?
Do you know what? Like, I learned a lot of it on my own.
Okay.
Do you know what I want to say to new photographers? If you see a photographer that you kind of admire, reach out to them. Ask them if they can mentor you. This is something that we could do as senior photographers to help the younger generation.
Okay.
Like, I would love to help somebody if they were interested in, getting into photography. Because I'm telling you, the road that I went down was rough.
Yeah.
Like,
been
you
a
got to
long time.
figure it all out. I mean, I've been at this for 20 years. It's crazy. I can't even believe I'm saying that, 20 years,
Yeah.
right? But it's true. Like, the camera is an extension of your hand, and you need to learn how to use that. But instead of going through YouTube and tutorials, why don't you reach out to somebody and ask for help? I think the communication is missing there with people.
Okay.
Well, and it's funny because you've done a ton of my pics over the years, either like at events or whether I hired you to do some headshots or whatever.
Yeah.
You've given me a couple of tips actually that I use consistently in my, like when somebody's about to take a picture of me or if I'm about to take a selfie or whatever it may be. And it was so counterintuitive the first couple of times I did it.
Yep.
I'm like, no, she's got to be wrong, but
Definitely.
she's not.
Nope.
So one of the things that I'm going to share it with all of you so I of course never wanted to have the double chin that I had, right? So I would do this.
Yeah, no, don't do
Right? And it was awful because it made me look like this was all chin. So, Kim says to me, tilt your head down. I'm like, no. She's like, yep, tilt your head down and to the side a little. And you will notice that that's what I look like in every picture. And it gets rid of the double chin.
Totally.
Good tip.
Totally. Whoever come up with the idea of put your tongue to the roof of your mouth, that was a viral thing that happened for a long time. That was crazy.
Too funny.
That does not work.
But
it just makes you look crazy.
And then if you put one leg in front of the other.
Oh, that's a good one.
And pop your hip a little bit,
Yeah.
you look thinner.
Okay.
Yeah, pop your booty.
Yep.
That's right.
I did hear that one.
It's like the S pose.
Yeah.
Do you know what? I think you're going to agree with me, both of you, that the most wonderful outcomes of photos are candid shots.
Absolutely.
Oh,
Like at a wedding,
most
there
definitely.
you are, you have the gorgeous wedding party. We've all been to hundreds of
Most
weddings and
definitely.
whatever events, and they're posed, right? And I've been posed for so many things in my life, and so have you.
absolutely.
Yeah.
At events, like I'm at the podium going to MC an event or Veronico, stand still and smile. But the ones of like the romantic shots of people just grabbing each other's hand to
But
waltz
that's
or
what a
something
photograph
like
is
I
about.
love.
It's those moments.
And you can do it.
Yeah, it's those moments, and that's what we do. I mean, and even working into like with Santa and stuff like that, it's the same thing. It's just those little moments when the kid looks at Santa and gets that in their eye. I have to snap it.
Yeah.
I mean, but I know the parent is probably thinking they want to picture their kid looking, but you know what? It's that moment.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
It's that moment when that
Giggling
kid
and-
looks, or the child just looks at him and he's kind of scared.
Yeah.
It's that instant moment.
Because you remember it.
That's the one.
I love it.
I remember
love
a
it.
photo one time of Gerard and I, we received the Freeman of the City years
yeah.
ago, and someone was telling a joke, and they put that in the front page of the paper,
Yeah.
but I look at that picture, and it was the funniest picture ever because somebody was speaking about us, and we were in hysterics, so here I am with my mouth hanging
But
open,
it's real.
laughing my guts up with my eyes closed, and Gerard is having the laugh of his life.
Right.
And they captured that, and I remember Lowell Loveday laminating it for me and bringing it, he said, this just made me smile because it was so caught off the cuff.
Yeah.
But that represents you and your husband.
I
though.
know, and the moment.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But it's so important to, like, you and I have volunteered together for many years now. And that's how we first met. So why is it so important for you to, number one, volunteer in the community, but you so often donate your services? And I mean, that's what people don't understand, right? Like, this is your time. This is how you earn a living.
Yeah.
But why has that connection to the community been so important to you?
I just think that the community is giving me so much. Like, if I give to the community, I get it back in return. And I think that's a lot of people that don't volunteer, you're missing a huge part of yourself because you can give that, but you get so much back in return.
Oh, no
And that's
question.
why I volunteer, and that's why I donate so much. It's because I can, and I'm able to, and it feels good, and it teaches my kids to do that.
well,
And now
that-
I'm seeing them do it, and they're not even thinking about it; they're just automatically doing it. And it's just that it feels good.
Okay,
It feels
great.
good.
So
Yeah.
we want to talk to you about a couple of initiatives that are coming up.
Yes.
And one big one that everyone's going to be excited about because we're in October now is Santa Claus.
I know.
So talk to us about the two different projects that you have coming up or
Yeah.
sessions you have, Santa and then some other big one that we don't really know much about.
So I haven't been saying a whole lot right now about Santa Claus, but it's out of the bag now, so we're kind of excited. Okay, so Santa got a new home. But first off, let's talk about Wake Up Santa.
Yeah.
So Wake Up Santa has been a tradition that we've done in the mall, and then I just felt like we had to keep it going.
Right.
So I just keep it going myself.
Absolutely.
So Santa Claus is going to be woke up at my apologies, the Logieville, the Logieville Rec Center on the 26th of November at 10 a.m. So we're going to wake them up.
Fantastic.
So everybody's invited to come. It's a huge venue.
Yes.
The gym.
It's a great,
So Santa's going to be
great
up on
hall.
the stage. We're going to wake them up at 10 a.m. sharp. And then Santa is got a new home. And his sleigh is going to be parked in the front of Home Hardware in Newcastle.
Can't wait.
And you got to come check out his sleigh. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And he's going to be permanently staying at Home Hardware this year.
Yeah.
Thanks to the kind folks there.
Yes.
Darcy Gulliver
Yes.
is going to help
Awesome.
put Santa's Village together.
Beautiful.
The set is going to be amazing.
Beautiful.
Rose and Guy have been amazing through this whole project.
Yeah. Yes.
And the exciting news is that everybody is going to get a free photo
Nice.
Can you
free
That
photo.
is amazing.
Yeah, so Home Hardware in Newcastle is going to be donating free photos to everyone
Beautiful.
this year.
Well,
Incredible.
There's our news for the day.
Isn't that awesome?
Big news.
I love it.
So everybody can come get a free photo from Santa at Home Hardware.
I love it.
We're going to be there every Saturday leading up to Christmas, starting on the 3rd.
Perfect.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And we only have a couple of minutes till break, so you're going to have to tell us about the other
Yes,
project you have
yes.
coming up.
Speaking of people with big hearts and giving back to the community, on the 21st, the Big Cove Pharmasave, so it's 35 Big Cove Road, they're going to be hosting a family photo event. So everybody is welcome. It's for all their customers and another opportunity to get a free photo.
Nice.
Isn't that amazing?
I'm
So
so proud.
it's the Pharmasave's 6th anniversary, I believe, in that area, and the community has been so great to them.
Yeah.
So they contacted me, and we're going to do a fall
Beautiful.
set,
You're gonna
and
do it.
it's going to be awesome. Yeah, everybody comes get a free 4x6 photo.
Amazing.
Well, what's better than free?
I know.
What in life's for free?
I know.
Right?
I mean, and the kids and the parents now know these events are coming up.
Yep.
Mark your calendars,
Yep.
and that you're going to be there full force, and
Yep.
it's coming up really
It
fast.
is. It's going to be super fun. I'm really excited.
Well, I'm really excited, Kim, and I wanted to thank you for being our guest today.
Thank you.
And for Veronique and I both for having done such lovely work with us and showing us great
Made us
customer
look good.
service in the past. All of my photos I have at home, I can say Kim Harris did the bulk of them.
Yep.
Isn't it funny how my name just rolls into one word?
I know.
Yeah,
Come
but
here.
it makes me
Damaris.
think of my time spent with you in your studio
Yeah.
and those
Oh, I
little
know.
friendships that we've all formed with Kim.
I know. It's so much fun. Thank you, girls, for having me. It's just like sitting with friends here. It's
Yeah.
amazing.
Good.
I was all nervous for nothing.
No, I love it. And we have, like I said, another lovely lady coming
do.
up to talk to us, and you're going to be busy, and she's another girl
She's
that
going to be busy too.
is
So,
another
yeah.
event type person. So
Yeah.
we can't wait to share more.
There's so much going on here.
Yep. So we are going to go to break, and we want everyone to grab a coffee or a cold drink or a quick little snack, and please come back and join Veronique and I.
Yep.
Thank you,
Have a
girls.
snack for me.
Hello and welcome back to Have a Chat. I'm your host for today's show, Judy Loge, and I'm delighted as always to share this set with Veronique Arsenault, my co-host.
We're pretty lucky to be together.
Yeah, and I think it's nice that we each take turns hosting each week, and it's fun, and one can relax a bit more than the other. You know, but thank you to Rogers too for having us going into our 9th season now, right?
Hard to believe.
It's hard to believe, is it right?
Yep.
I am so thrilled to have you with us today. This is Amy McKenna.
Thanks.
And Amy McKenna is an organizer of a zombie walk,
I
which
know.
I think I should be the star of because I'm a walking zombie most days. You know?
I look tired enough to be one.
I'll do your makeup.
Well, there you go.
I'll do your
You could
makeup.
be awesome, but tell everybody about yourself personally.
So my name's Amy McKenna, and I transferred here with my job in 2015, myself and my daughter from Alberta, and just to be closer to family and friends.
That's a
Yeah,
big
it's-
change.
Yeah, big difference, but the community that we were in didn't have a Tim Hortons, so to come here
Oh dear.
and have more than one grocery store, have a Tim Hortons, it was all, yeah.
Crazy. And how old's your daughter?
She's almost 18, and she's graduating this year from JMH.
Oh, that's a good
yeah,
school.
yeah, it's a great.
What's the tummy? Always the tummy.
Yeah.
I have the whole kit. I have the hat, the
Yes,
scarf.
yes.
The, yeah.
As you should.
Lovely. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Well, welcome. Thank you for being a first-time guest on our show with this topic.
Yes.
Now, Miramichi Zombie Walk. I know that everybody's like, what are they talking about? So tell us everything that we need to know about the Miramichi Zombie Walk.
Well, first of all, zombie walks are an international thing. The first recorded one was 2013, I believe, in Toronto. But
Really?
now, Vancouver, London, Paris, they all have their own zombie walks.
Did not know
And
that.
so
Yeah.
does Miramichi.
Yeah, and now Miramichi does.
Very good.
So a zombie walk is where you dress up in costume and you act like a zombie. So some zombies are slow and growl, and some are fast. So Dr. Keating would be a very good fast zombie.
Yes.
I'll approach her on that.
Yep.
I'll be the slow one.
Yeah. So, and normally they walk on streets or sidewalks, and some walks are like a fundraiser. So we kind of jumped on the fundraising part, and we've extended our walk to be more of an event. So it's 12 to 3. So it's October 8th,
Okay.
12 to 3 p.m. at Elm Park. So it's the newly renovated park, so it's open, it's beautiful, it's right by the Chatham Library.
Yes.
And so the walk itself starts at 2, but between 12 and 3 we have a barbecue. Chatham Superstore donated hot dogs and drinks.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah, it's great. And then we have free games. So Eastlink came on as a sponsor. And so we doubled our games from 3 that I made to, I think we have about 10.
Oh.
Yeah, and Ian from the Bloom Guys. Games.
It's gonna be fun.
Yeah, so, and it's all ages games. We tried to make, like, this is an all ages event. Zombies aren't just for kids or just aren't for adults. So we really kind of wanted to make it accessible to everybody. So like our last zombie walk was in 2019, and I think we had a toddler was our youngest zombie, and we had a great grandmother who was our oldest zombie. Yeah, so it's a lot of fun. You get to put makeup on, become a different character, be a little silly if you want, and yeah, it's fun. It's a nice Halloween.
Very unique.
Yeah, and that's kind of what drew me to it. I've been face painting for years, and I always liked prosthetics and that kind of stuff. And there had been a zombie walk here in 2017. I couldn't go because I was sick, and so the next year I contacted and they weren't doing it. And I really wanted to dress up like a zombie, and so my daughter was at Dr. Logier at the time, and her drama club were looking to fundraise, and so I just took that on. A couple teachers helped, and we hosted the first zombie walk, or that we organized.
I love your T-shirt, by the way, too. Amy, let's get a flash to the camera. So I love that decal. That's catchy.
Yeah, I was going to take props, but I was thinking zombie props might not be appropriate.
It's really, really nice.
Yeah, so all decked out. Set me up. I contacted them on the weekend, and they had it done by this morning.
Beautiful.
So yeah,
So people might be able to get them there. Do you think if they phone all decked out in Water Street and Chatham?
So I did talk to the owner, and she said that there'll be $20 plus tax, and so you just have to let them know before Friday, and they can have it done for the zombie walk. So
I'm fairly certain that I don't need a whole lot of makeup, just the dark circles and bags under my eyes should do it.
Actually, the less the better. It's an impact. And so so All Decked Out also donated some blood, so we can do some fake blood on people. Costumes aren't mandatory. I would
that was my other question.
Yeah, so costumes aren't mandatory. We had about 150 people on site for a 2019 walk, and about 100 were in costume.
My gosh, that's going to be a sight to behold.
Yeah, so we lucked out. The city really, and the city police really helped us out this year. We had our previous 2 zombie walks at Waterford Green, and it's a beautiful area but tucked away, and we would just do the walk on Water Street. Again, beautiful, but a short walk. And so one of the things that people had said to us is they really wanted more visibility. If they're dressing in costume, they want people to see them, and so Elm Park really fits that.
The trees and above and everything.
And the city police has actually given us permission to double the length of our walk. So if you want to watch it, not participate in it, at 2:00 is when it starts. So we'll leave Elm Park, go up Wellington, turn right at the Petrocan onto Kennard, and then right again on Duke Street. So go past Dooley's and on the sidewalk. We're not going to go on the road. We're trying to keep everyone safe. But yeah, you'll see our volunteers in their high visibility vests.
Yes, yeah.
And yeah, it's going to be fun. So that's the actual walk, and it costs $5 to register, and then we have the cash barbecue, and then I have a photo booth I donated. So everyone will get a free digital and print out photo.
Nice.
Beautiful.
Yeah, with like a zombie theme on it. And the free games, and then my favorite part is probably the brain eating competition.
Stop.
Oh my!
It's gross. It's Jello.
Yes.
And we mix a bunch of different flavors together, so it makes a really gross color. And I serve it out of a big pot. And so you can register at our registration table for it's hilarious.
Okay.
We had kids and we have prizes for kids and for adults. And it was
really a lot of work.
I know.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what get a drive for our anniversary. Is a registration for the zombie
It's
walk.
$5.
Yeah. And you can pick up a T-shirt.
Yes, and I mean the rest of the day is ours.
Yep.
It would just be those 3 hours to act like zombies,
That's
which
right.
sometimes
Exactly.
we do anyway.
Yeah.
But listen, you're very involved in our community then, and you haven't been here that many years, but you've thrown yourself into Miramichi and getting involved. So how do you feel about giving back, and what does it do for you?
I mean, my family moved a lot growing up, every 2 years, and that was one thing my parents always, there's 4 siblings, and we always volunteered
Nice.
in the community, and it's a good way to meet people. And it's something that I like to pass on to my daughter because she helps me quite a bit with the zombie walk.
She would.
And not so much in costume anymore,
No.
but she helps out. And so I think volunteering is really important. It helps integrate you in your community. It feels nice. Kim was right. It feels great to volunteer. It doesn't cost money in most cases, and I mean, there's so many groups and events in town that no matter what your interest is, you can find something to volunteer at.
Absolutely.
And I find the benefit, there's so much to choose from here that you can choose to only volunteer once a year, like at a zombie walk, or you can choose all year round to volunteer, like with search and rescue.
Yeah.
So it's really all levels of volunteer, but it's great for kids to be involved. I found like my mom and dad volunteer with my daughter and I, so that's 3 generations volunteering, right?
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah, so it's important. I find it's really important.
And your daughter's friends would see that too. It's a spiral.
Oh yeah, I talk her friends
love
into
it.
helping. Yeah.
So you talked about a little bit about the fundraising aspect of the upcoming zombie walk. How did you settle on Miramichi Ground Search and Rescue as your recipient this year?
Well, this is our 4th year planning, but 3rd year going ahead. COVID kind of messed up last year's.
Yeah.
So the first 2 years, it was a much smaller event, and the funds went to the Dr. Logier Drama Club.
Beautiful.
But those 2 years, search and rescue volunteers were our main volunteers. They came in their orange. They donated tables. They donated their command post. They really helped out a lot. And search and rescue is close to my heart.
Mine too.
Yeah.
Ditto.
Yeah. Lots of pictures of you guys with the team in orange.
Might just girls share briefly why. I mean, it's just for passion in mind because I think it's a huge thing to have in place.
Yeah.
Like we don't know who from a person in their home that as a spell, a cognitive impairment that might wander off to a child that gets lost, and it's so
we've
huge.
seen it.
It's so huge to me, and when I watch it on TV and think those people are out and searching for a lost soul, I'm just a champion of the cause.
Absolutely.
So, and your dad, you might want to speak to that.
Oh, you're dad too?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah, we're like family now.
Yes.
Yeah. You can't miss my dad. No. Actually, your dad and my dad, you can't miss either one of them.
Yeah, my family has been, it's almost been 30 years. Search and rescue has kind of been in our life. Yeah, all over provinces.
Wow.
And out of the 6 of us, 5, my mom, my dad, 3 siblings, so we've all volunteered
Fantastic,
at
Amy.
some part in search and rescue. But what really draws me to them, I did volunteer when I first came here. Actually, I think I was driving across the country to move here, and I was doing stuff online for the team. I do did a lot of the social media. And when my personal company expanded, it's a big commitment to be a search and rescue volunteer.
Absolutely.
And that's why I try and support them with doing stuff like this, the zombie walk, or they were just having a barbecue event, and I face painted for free. So I support them how I can, but there is a lot of commitment to being a search and rescue.
No question.
Lots of training, lots of required training, and so the reason we decided to go with them this year is not only did they help us out the first 2 years as we were getting started, they trained and did searches all through COVID, but a lot of their fundraisers. Couldn't go ahead.
Dedicated.
And a lot of businesses were hurting, so it's hard to get new sponsors. So they're helping out this year, and it's going to be good. They're a good group.
Yeah, well, and it's funny because Dad got involved about a year and a half ago. So Roger, Roger our son. So anyway, Dad got involved about a year and a half ago, and I pushed him because when Dad retired 2 years ago, he didn't want to be retired, right? Dad's he'll kill me, but
always has a purpose.
Yeah, he's going to be 77 this year, and he didn't want to be retired.
Yep.
Yeah.
And Ground Search and Rescue really gave him an opportunity to continue to put his skills to use. He's been out on quite a few searches because that's what happens, right? Is that people go missing, and they're one of the most active groups in the province, so they get called quite a bit, and it really, although there were some days where he's like, I walked for 12 hours and I don't want to do it anymore, but he always came home feeling like he had done something,
given his best shot to try
yeah, and I know that if anything ever happened, like that mom went missing or something like that, like I would want them, because I do know that they go through a significant amount of training. They work closely with our Miramichi Police Department as well, that I would want that kind of group of volunteers out there looking for her.
So thankful to Ground Search and Rescue. Just keep up the great work, and your dad and your family and everyone that's involved. Thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely.
Tell us, really, we want to know too about the other aspect of your life, and that's McKenna Entertainment. You are the proprietor, right?
Well, yeah, it's my daughter, my mom, and myself.
All three of you.
Yeah, and we started 2019, so right before COVID.
Yeah, of course.
So for over 10 years, I've been a face painter. Mainly, it was out west, and then I transferred over here. And then in junior high, my daughter figured she'd start a glitter tattoo business because she was coming to events with me anyway.
Yes.
Yeah, and then when my mom fully retired in the spring of 2019, she was going to events with me anyway. Yeah. So we were trying to think of something else that we could do as a family that she could kind of take ownership of, and so we added a photo booth.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's been great. It's
busy.
Very busy. This has been a really good summer. Yeah, COVID kind of stalled a little bit, obviously.
Of course,
Now not everyone's getting face painted with their mask on. Yeah. But we have been booked solid since March.
That is good
news. Every weekend, yeah.
Good news.
Yeah.
Before we have to close our show, we do want to catch you to go back to the Zombie Walk on registration, how people register, and where they do.
So you can register online. We're on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. So if you go to our Facebook page, I pinned it on the top. Our online registration form, and you can also pay online. Or we'll also have a clearly marked registration table, and so you'll register for the walk. And we're doing a best dressed.
Oh,
yeah, we have the mayor and deputy mayor and Chad Duplessis are going to be our judges, and we've got some really great prizes from Eastlink and some businesses around Chatham have donated. So we'll have a best dressed adult, youth, and the group or couple.
And when's registration deadline?
So the online registration deadline is Saturday the 8th by 1 p.m. And then we're going to have our registration desk open until 2 p.m. or like 1:45 before the walk starts.
Perfect. Perfect. That's the information we need.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
And before we say goodbye, last question, do you need volunteers?
We lucked out. Search and Rescue, we'll have, between them and some family and friends, we'll have over 20. So the best way to support would be to show up and eat our barbecue. And
who doesn't love barbecue?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, we're having a hot dog barbecue. The Search and Rescue team are going to run it. And so all the proceeds from this, I'm a volunteer. I don't make money off of it. Nobody makes money off it. All the money goes right back to the team.
Fantastic.
It's great. So there is a fundraiser, a food truck festival happening the same day. So I'm encouraging all zombies to go after and get their supper.
Absolutely.
Because it goes to the SPCA.
Right.
So another great group. And they're just a block away from us.
Right.
So if you can kind of combine the two events in one day, show off your outfit and get some great food.
And I think we're looking at good weather. The long-range forecast is looking promising, and regardless, zombies walk in any kind of weather.
Exactly.
It's going to be awesome.
Thank you so much,
thank you for joining us for our show. We want to wish our viewers a very happy upcoming Thanksgiving weekend. It's a time to celebrate, whether it's just you and your immediate family or people that you haven't been able to get in touch with or see over the last couple of years, to kind of come together or just come out. Give Thanksgiving for people like Amy that are bringing wonderful things to our community and support the causes. And Land Search and Rescue and Kim Harris is doing photography of your children, your little community members. We want to embrace everything we can in the city of Miramichi. So from Veronique and I and all the studio crowd at Rogers, and from Amy McKenna with McKenna Entertainment, we want to say happy Thanksgiving, and we will see you the following week. Be safe, be healthy, and be happy. Thank you for joining us today for Have a Chat.